Destiny, the man who debated Jontron, is an absolutely deplorable, sociopathic, communist-loving, woman-beating asshole who laughs when he tells people to commit suicide, and they do it. No, Jontron's career isn't fucking dead. In comparison to this pathetic excuse for human waste, Jontron's just getting started. But you know what? Let's get started by talking about Jontron's debate with this guy. The debate begins somewhere around the 2-minute 16-second mark.
So I guess it's kind of this general vague defense of Western, or more specifically like American culture. Basically, the problem I'm getting into is every time I read things, and I know that you're going to take extreme disagreement with this, every time I read things, what it always seems to boil down to is I think that this thing is better because it's majority white, and I don't want that to change. And that's like the most important thing. That's how it seems to read out to me that way.
Okay, so that is one way that you might look at the way that, I mean, obviously you can take that from it, but that's really not the core argument. The core argument is that no other nation would voluntarily change its demographics.
A solid rebuttal on Jontron's part. While there are some psychopaths who are trying to insist that white people are superior or some retarded bullshit, that's simply not the argument being made by most sane people.
To kind of start this off, I'm not comparing us to any other country in the world.
This sets the tone for the rest of the debate. Anytime similarities or analogies are trying to be drawn to other countries in the future, this statement serves as the template of, I can't allow you to treat America as anything but a vacuum devoid of global context.
We don't have like an ethnic background that is tied to our country.
Bull fucking shit. Native Americans existed nowhere else in the world. We do indeed have an ethnic background that is tied to our country. But if you wanted to go a little bit deeper than Native Americans, the only race that only exists in America, we could talk about the two predominant ethnicities that did settle here, the English and the Germans. In the late 1700s, in fact, there were so many Germans in America that a bill was put out to have all news articles printed in both English and German. This, in fact, gave rise to the rumor that German almost became America's official language. I'm sure you've heard that one before.
If you're from France, you can be French. If you're from Italy, you can be Italian, German. You can be German, Polish.
As long as your ethnicity and beliefs correspond with or do not contradict the core principles of America. The core principles I am referencing, of course, being freedom. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. These core principles, by the way, conflict directly with the core principles of Islam as taught in the Middle East. Islam in the Middle East is not compatible with the freedoms of the Western world, so in order to join our countries, they must have to make fundamental changes to their system of belief, which is not always happening. This is why you get Islamists trying to push Sharia law into Western law, or at least demanding we give them the right to govern themselves with Sharia in an attempt to undermine our Western laws.
And
Well, what do you mean by matter of fact? What I'm saying is that as time has gone on, we've seen more and more people be included in the identity of what it means to be an American. So it seems strange that today there's like this massive pushback on who can become included in that demographic. That just seems kind of
okay,
strange.
I understand.
The people we are pushing back against are people who refuse to become American in lieu of their own identities. In Britain, you have Muslims who identify as Muslims, not British. People cannot be allowed to exist in your country while holding moral principles and standards that are not compatible with your country. If your fellow Americans do not identify as Americans first, they do not need to be there and are likely to be a compromise to your nation's moral and ethical codes.
A nation is supposed to be a people that are all bound by at least culture, if not genetics or whatever you want to say.
I can already see this one getting taken out of context, so I'm gonna make it clear. I do not believe that John, in any way, shape, or form, endorses the idea of a nation being defined by people who share a specific set of genetic strains. He has made no indication that he is for the idea of a nation being entirely one race. But on the other front, he is absolutely correct. A nation should be comprised of people who share the same moral and ethical codes. Anyone who wishes to live outside of those moral and ethical codes needs to find somewhere else to live. See Sharia advocates. After the previous quote, Destiny talked about Jim Crow laws being the primary cause of racism in the United States and blaming Jim Crow, and by extension white people, for black people committing crime in the United States. When John finally gets to respond to this, he points out that Europe never had any Jim Crow laws, and yet minorities are still disproportionately responsible for crimes there.
Well, the United Kingdom didn't have Jim Crow. France didn't have Jim Crow. We still have riots. We still have Muslim riots over there. And in Sweden, they didn't have Jim Crow. There's still riots in the streets of Stockholm and Malmo and wherever else. So you're telling me that...
I'm just speaking.
So at what point do we so Jim Crow, one aspect of it here in America, but as far as the rest of the Western world, we don't have these same precedents.
Now, you can ask me to go dig up some footage of the riots and stuff going on in the EU, but for fuck's sake, it's been all over the fucking news. You've probably heard about all of the shit that happens. You almost couldn't go an entire week without hearing about another refugee attack in the EU.
And there's
I only want to speak
crime in those communities.
I only want to speak in regards to the United States because everything else is way more complicated.
Yeah, it's not that complicated. The only reason you don't want to talk about other countries is because if someone managed to prove this kind of violence isn't Jim Crow law, it wouldn't suit your virtue signaling white people are responsible for this narrative.
No. Like it's not as if we're saying like all black people are irresponsible. That's ridiculous. I mean, that is truly bigoted. I'm just saying, like, you can't make the argument that whites should be okay with them being becoming a minority in the countries that their ancestors built if it doesn't apply to other countries.
Why must America be willing to replace its majority demographic when no one expects other countries to give up their majority demographic? It's a good point to be making. The left outright expect America and Europe to be perfectly happy letting non-Europeans and non-Americans completely replace their majority demographic of Americans. Why wouldn't you expect Egypt to give up their demographic to the Chinese then? Or the Chinese to give up their majority for incoming Americans? A standard that is not applied to the arbiter should be dismissed.
Whoa, we're getting way different. Hold on. White minority versus other countries. Okay, here, I'll write this down. We're not quite on that topic yet. I'm just saying that if you're not acknowledging that there are problems that exist in these communities, you'll never be able to fix it, right? And one of the big problems I had when I talked with Sargon was this idea that, like, black people just need to fix themselves. Like, I mean, sure, you can say that, but this is going to take a lot longer to get these communities on board when they were aggravated by white communities for so long. You can't just tell a group of people that have been oppressed historically in the United States for hundreds of years, you know, over the course of a generation to just fix their shit. Like, it doesn't work that way, you know?
I don't understand why it is anyone else's responsibility but their own. Do they not have agency? Why is it why should someone else deal with these problems? I mean, that's basically what people are asking of this.
Why indeed should it be white people's responsibility to clean up black people's communities? Yes, we once treated black people as slaves, and then we gave them their freedom. A slave is considered a second-class citizen, so this is analogous to how we treat children. When a child reaches adulthood, they stop being a second-class citizen. In what reality are your parents responsible for you after you've hit adulthood? If your parents want to take care of you while you're an adult, fine, let them. That's the beauty of it. They can go ahead and do that. But this is not and should not be required of them. You've been set free. You're no longer their responsibility. It's not my responsibility if my future son decides he wants to be a thug and start shooting people. If anything, that means I was a bad father. But that doesn't mean I should be held accountable for their success and that I should be forced to clean up after them as an adult. Black people have autonomy. They aren't subservient to anyone. And so nobody should be required to take care of them. Nobody should be required to fix things for them. And to force somebody else to do that is completely immoral.
Nobody would ask Japan if it was okay that Japan become a minority Japanese nation.
But we're not Japan.
So fucking what? Oh, wait, I know what. For some reason, no countries anywhere are analogous to each other in any situation ever.
And also, Japan is one of the most racist fucking countries in the world.
I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent here. Yeah, sure, Japan are the most racist people in the world. And look how well they're doing. The Japanese are also the healthiest people in the world. You cannot walk through Japan and find an obese person. They don't exist. And their people enjoy the highest welfare in the world. The Japanese are extremely sensitive to wealth inequality, driving the super rich to avoid ostentatious displays of wealth. Japan is one of the most aggregately successful countries in the entire world, with the highest median wealth of individual citizens. They don't have to force their rich into caring for others. The Japanese just have a cultural sense of care for their fellow people. That should sound like a utopia to anyone. And yet, for some reason, it doesn't, just because Japan are the allegedly most racist people in the world. I mean, yeah, sure, okay. It's true that the Japanese don't generally enjoy having non-Japanese people in their country as permanent residents. However, if you, as a non-Japanese person, can integrate yourself into their society well enough, they'll accept you. At a glance, their racism does extend to the color of your skin. But once you've shown yourself to be savvy with their culture, loving, appreciative, respectful of their culture, the Japanese are generally quick to take you in. You'd think it would be pretty obvious that the Japanese don't just hate all other cultures, considering how much love and care they put into anime and video games and other appreciations of worldwide culture. But no, apparently the Japanese are just racist right off the bat. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Why is the skin color so important?
Literally one of, and probably the only sensible thing that you have said this entire time, dude. I actually have to give you applause for this one. Congratulations. Wow. I didn't think I'd hear a single smart thing out of your mouth, but for once, you managed to spit something out that didn't make me cringe.
You're talking about reaction to identity politics, dog. Half the people that were tweeting at me in response to what you were saying to me were literal Nazis and white supremacists, like linking me.
Look, man, it's this guilt by association shit. Why don't you denounce all the communists in your movement? They killed 100 million people.
Wait,
what's wrong with communism? Is that what you just said?
Wait, what does communism have to do with any of this?
Jontron cannot control who endorses him, who follows him. But if you want to bring it up, it's entirely fair that Jontron call attention to the fucking disgusting communists that pervade your viewership. What's up with that, my dude? You want to bring up the Nazis that apparently support Jontron? Hey, what do they have to do with this? They have exactly as much to do with this as the communists who follow you have to do with this.
Well, what do Nazis have to do with this?
The people, it's a political and race ideology. Communism is just an economic thing.
Okay, Nazis were a movement in 1930s Germany. They have absolutely nothing to do with any of this. Americans are the ones who beat the Nazis. So I don't know why we're bringing Nazis into anything.
Because the people that were supporting you identify as neo-Nazis.
I don't care. Does someone replying to me mean that I endorse them? Have I ever tweeted anything of neo-Nazi ideology?
No, but...
Anyways, this worthless bag of... Anyways, this worthless... last bit about communism only being an economics thing. It's just... I can't. I fucking can't. So, anyway, I honestly couldn't stand to edit a video long enough to listen to Destiny's voice for the rest of the debate. A friend of mine, by the name of Nakedape, debated Destiny later, and fucking decimated him so badly on the topic of economics that Destiny collapsed and pussied out of the debate before the 30-minute mark. He was clearly wrestling out of his league and told a man who spent his free time researching economics for various videos that he wasn't equipped for this debate.
You're not equipped to have these conversations, dog. But I'm gonna kill myself if I have to talk to you anymore. I'm sorry, dude. Good luck with everything. I can't. I'm sorry, guys. I can't. Not with this guy. I can't do it. I can't have these conversations, dude. Like, I'm gonna end up fucking killing myself. Like, I can't do it.
I don't feel like knuckle dragging through the video to find choice clips because it's all fucking gold. So instead, I uploaded the full debate and have linked it in the description below. After the debate, a group of fervorous little autists started digging into Destiny's past and found a few tidbits of information I find to be extremely incriminating to Destiny's character. As it turns out, I don't think he's on any platform to be criticizing Jontron from.
Oh, what were we saying? Oh, I was with my ex-wife for like 5 or 6 years, and then I was with Rachel for like 3 or 4 years. And I'll do like the dating thing, I guess. I just bounce from long-term relationship to long-term relationship. What caused you to almost break up with Teresa a while ago? Pretty much exactly what I just talked to you now. I always feel bad for the person that I'm dating because, like I said, towards the end of any relationship I'm in, I get to a point to where, well, I say towards the end, really, it's after like 3 or 4 months into a relationship, I completely stop giving a fuck about the other person, and I just want to like focus on my own shit. I don't care at all about the other person.
I can't even begin to explain how fucking shitty that sounds. What kind of human being? Let's just, next point.
Hardcore physically abusive towards the end. Holy fucking shit, dude. Me and Rachel had so many fucking fist fights. I've got holes in the wall. Like, there's like 2 or 3 downstairs. I put one downstairs in the wall when I was going downstairs after another fight. Me and Rachel got physical like a motherfucker. Holy shit.
Straight up admitting to beating his ex-girlfriend, Rachel. You can't get any better than this. Let's keep going.
Do you think you have the capacity to be a serial murderer because you disassociate with humans and lack empathy? I mean, I understand empathy in like a really, what's the most euphoric way I can say this? In like an intellectual sense? Like, I mean, I understand empathy because I'm not fucking retarded, right? Like, obviously, like, kicking somebody in the face is a bad thing, so I wouldn't do that, right? I mean, could I ever be a serial murderer? I mean, if somebody were to give me the address of like all the people that hack against me on Ladder, maybe. but the problem is that I don't want to go to fucking jail. Fuck that shit.
So it sounds like jail time is the only thing that separates this man from being a serial murderer. Wow. What a graceful exemplar of humanity.
Why would I fight Rachel? Our relationship was super fucking bad at the end. Our relationship was so violent. I had to call the cops on her 3 different times to get her to leave the fucking house. I remember you showed your scars from fighting with her on stream. That was a long time ago. That was when I was documenting evidence in case she tried to do shit.
Man fights woman. She fights back. He calls police and documents scars in case she tries to press charges. Huh.
How can you establish friendships with people if you lack empathy? I mean, I don't really have any friends.
Huh. Weird. I couldn't see why. You're just such a pleasant person.
Oh, I did troll the shit out of the DDoS kid. That's a guy, that's one of the people, like, legitimately, like, you have no, like, it's actually kind of scary, like, how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. Or it would have just been him and his father. Because I didn't know anything about it. Dude, that was some of the most fucked up shit in my entire life. I was so fucking close to doing it. But I was making so much money on Twitch, and I don't know if Nathan was involved in yet, but for whatever reason, I decided that the current life I had wasn't worth the risk of... Oh my god. Oh my god, I was so close to this fucking address. I had fucking streets mapped out and fucking you had no fucking idea. That's when I first started getting an interest in like owning a weapon. I got a permit to own a gun and everything. Holy fuck. I was so fucking close to killing that dude and his dad. You have no fucking idea. I wanted to so fucking bad. Ah, so fucking bad.
Listen to this. Literally, this guy is unhinged. What the fuck? What the fuck? He was gonna organize a murder gang. Are you danger to himself and society?
Destiny, you fucked with that blue tea girl by giving her nudes to friends. I mean, it was a pretty shitty thing for me to do. People, this is dumb, and it kind of sounds like I'm making excuses, but she wasn't actually mad that I shared her nude pictures, because those same pictures had been shared with other people too, and she had a guy, like, that wasn't the problem. The problem was just that I said her face was ugly, which was dumb on my part. I mean, it was pretty shitty of me to say that. I mean, people could say, I don't know. I mean, I can justify it a million different ways. My planning suicide? So I'm the kind of person I am. I'm way too full of myself to ever kill myself. It's like the benefit of being extremely narcissistic, I think. I would never, ever, ever commit suicide. Destiny, you seem to like to push boundaries. I mean, sometimes. It's more about figuring out where people's boundaries are, because I have none. I have no boundaries. There's nothing that you can say or do that would make me uncomfortable. You think you have a legit form of autism when you struggle to compute the social rules and context? No, I don't think. Well, could I? If I did have some kind of autism, it wouldn't be on the part of the spectrum that fucks up your interactions with other people. For the most part, I have really good interactions with other people. I think you might have Asperger's, which is lacking empathy, but understanding it exists. I don't think that people with Asperger's may even understand that empathy, have any intellectual attachment to empathy at all. I don't know. I knew two girls in real life that had Asperger's. One had to work for me, and another one I knew from school. And you could tell, it was painfully obvious that they had Asperger's. Like, they would just talk and talk and talk, and you would have no fucking idea, and you wouldn't care, and they would just keep going on, and they wouldn't even stop to ever ask you a question to make sure you were paying attention. Oh God, I fucking hated working with this girl so much. Oh my God. They would say dumb shit to customers. They would be rude. They wouldn't even realize they're being rude. Like, how does it feel to be a compulsive liar? A friend that I hung out with every weekend, he's the one that actually got me into poker. Friend that I hung out with every weekend, his life was shit. He didn't have a job. He didn't have any money. He still lived with his mom. He didn't have a car. I don't think he had a driver's license. Basically, he got busted for marijuana. It was like a $600 ticket or a $600 fine or something. He thought he'd never have the money for it. And basically, he said that he would pretty much figured that since he had nothing going for him, he was going to kill himself. And I was like, I mean, like, it's your life, dude. Don't let anybody else control you. If you really feel like killing yourself is the best thing, then by all means, like, fucking go for it. And then he did it. So... But yeah, he decided to lay down on some train tracks, and they rolled on by. This is 5 years ago. RIP.
Wow, dude. Just wow. Straight up told a guy to kill himself, and you fucking laugh about it.
Holy shit. How do I explain to my daughter incest is wrong? Is it actually wrong? I don't know. This is a crazy fucking thing. Reading this. So apparently this guy's got a daughter, and him and his wife are like really like contemporary people, and they've been like super sex positive, and they've been like really careful with their kids to make sure that they're reasonable, rational people. And apparently one day the daughter goes up to the dad and talks about how, like, Dad, I'm not able to have an orgasm when I masturbate. I don't know why. And the dad was taken a little bit by surprise by it. And eventually the conversation came down to the daughter saying, why can't you just show me what it's like to have an orgasm or whatever, because I've read all this shit about it. And then he was like, well, I can't, incest is wrong. But the daughter is like arguing with him like crazy, and he doesn't have any rational arguments to defend that point. And I mean, I don't know, are there? Besides obviously like inbreeding and shit, but I mean, damn, that's tough as fuck. What do you actually say there?
Holy fucking shit. I can't go any deeper than this. I have looked through 2 videos now, and this is what I'm ending on. This is the last straw. This is it. This is fucked. This is fucked. Oh God. Oh fuck. Oh God. Okay. Thoughts. Final thoughts. Listen, Jontron ain't fucking evil. He's a good dude. He's bringing up some facts that some people don't like, as well as bringing up some half facts or misleading facts that aren't entirely true, but overall, Jontron is on the right track, okay? This guy is completely unhinged. This dude is just off the wall, batshit insane. And I can't understand how anyone could laud him as a champion of anything. He is narcissistic, self-important, sociopathic, intellectually dishonest, and he can't accept when or if he's lost. Sound like anyone familiar? Steve Bunnell is the new Onision, except Onision's actually popular with someone. Destiny's just garbage, who preys on people who he doesn't think know how to debate, except for the one time he went after Sargon of Akkad. I'd go on, but Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, anyways, here's where I'm ending the video. This is the cutoff point. This is the final words. If you enjoy my content, just go ahead and click the subscribe button. If you disagree with me, or you agree with me, or you've got something you want to say on the issue, or you've got input, I want to hear about it. Throw me a comment in the comment section. If you like this video particularly, give me a goddamn thumbs up. And hey, if you really like my content, it would be fucking fantastic if you went ahead and started giving to my Patreon. That would be a load off my mind. Thank you so much for sticking in with me this far. I'm gonna go have a bleach cocktail. I need something to just wipe my slate clean so I don't have to think about this ever again. You better fucking have a fantastic day. We'll see you next time.